and say, record and say, hi, Corinne, thanks for joining me for 15 minutes of and 15 questions while we get to know about a little bit about you. So for everybody that has not met Corinne before, this is Corinne Nash of Goodness Me Nutrition. So we'll hear a little bit more about what you do as we go along. So welcome to the Positive Passionate Women in Business interview series. This is where it's all about getting to know our members that are in the huddle a whole lot better. So welcome, Corinne. Thanks for being here. And tell me something about yourself that others may be surprised to know about you.
Okay, they might be surprised to know that I actually have 2 donkeys and that I'm completely useless as a donkey trainer, and so they're really badly behaved.
I think that would be surprising to learn you have donkeys. That's great. I love it. Do they have names?
Yes, Jessie and Lily, a boy and a girl.
How long have you had those donkeys?
Oh, about 5 years now.
Fantastic. I love it. So maybe people need to know that are watching whereabouts you live, because it's not everywhere that you could have a donkey.
No, that's true. Yes. Well, I live in the Northern Rivers area of northern New South Wales, and I live in a little village called Nashua, which is about 9 kilometres from the nearest small town of Bangalore. And I live on a 5-acre plot, which is why I've got room for some donkeys.
Wonderful. Thank you, Corinne. So if there was something in your past that you were able to go back and change or do differently, what would that be?
Okay. Yeah, I would probably change when I was doing like a year out, like an apprenticeship year of hotel and catering management. I was working in a hotel, and I was seconded to a smaller hotel, which was part of the same chain. And my manager from the big hotel basically asked me to spy on the smaller hotel and write a report for him. And being really young and naive, I thought that that was fine. And, you know, I was just had to do what the boss told me. And I wrote this report, and it got me into massive amounts of trouble and won me no friends whatsoever.
Wow, that's hard, isn't it? So what do you love now the most about what you do? And so this is a good time to tell us about Goodness Me Nutrition.
Okay, sure. Okay, what I really love about what I do now is that I have the ability to teach people things and to show them how to do things, which will make a massive difference in the way that their life is going to pan out. So I really believe that if you can change your way of eating for a healthier way of eating, you can have a really, really big impact on your risk of chronic disease later. And I think everyone's sort of fairly aware that, you know, if you live in a developed country, you're very likely to die of a heart attack, a stroke, cancer, dementia, or diabetes and its complications. And yet they are all, to some extent, preventable. And it's all lifestyle related. So we bring a lot of these things upon ourselves. And if we just changed what we did and the way we do things, we could make huge differences. I'm very hoping someone's going to pick that up. So that's what I love, is that if I have a client who has the self-will to actually get on and make some changes, and sometimes they can be really small changes, that's all that's required, they can see really big differences in their health. And that's really exciting because it has a knock-on effect as well. It affects their whole family, and often their partner, and their friends and their kids, because particularly if you're the main cook, what you do affects everyone around you, because they've got to eat it or make their own.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. I love that. So this one there, what about what you love least about what you do?
Okay. I guess what I love least about what I do is finding clients, because it just seems like it's a big, hard slog. And what I'd rather be doing is everybody just lining up at my door, and I get to do the fun part of talking to them and teaching them how to, eat better and cook better and be well. So yeah, I guess the marketing side doesn't excite me so much.
And so you do such a beautiful job of your own marketing that I feel like I was surprised to hear you say that, because I thought you do what I try and teach people to do, is that, share who you are, share what you do, so that you're actually attracting people to you rather than going out and chasing them. And I think you do a beautiful job. So if there's not a lot of knocking on the door right now, there will be very soon of that. I'm absolutely sure.
Well, I'm enjoying Canva. I have to say, I like being creative with Canva. I find that's quite fun in games, because I can't draw. So to be able to sort of create pictures and things using other people's elements is quite fun. But
You're doing a great job. I'm loving watching what you do. It's great. For those of you that don't know, Corinne has a great, is it in your Facebook group that you did that everybody cooked together?
No, I did it on my page, and then I advertised it in various groups, so that I pretty much made the spread as wide as I could, because if you're going to spend an hour cooking live, you kind of want as many people to be there as possible.
And I just thought that was the most fun, exciting concept. So if you haven't seen it, Corinne prepared a menu. She sent it out to everybody in advance so that they could shop for the ingredients and have it all ready. And then it was cooking with Corinne at 5 o'clock, and off you went all together, which I just thought was just so magic. I loved that.
Yeah, and it was great because I had my son at home and he was filming for me, which was super helpful, because the audio started to drop out. It must have been our internet connection, and people were asking questions, like in the chat box, like, what's she doing now? I can't hear anything. And he was just typing it all back to, oh, now she's putting the carrots in, and people saying, what about this? No, don't do that. So I'm really lucky that my son can cook too, and he didn't even have to ask me. He was just giving instructions.
That is absolutely fantastic. I love it. So, Corinne, if you were not doing this as a nutritionist, what would you be doing instead?
Oh, well, I'd probably be back in my old career as a caterer. So I'd probably still be cooking and waiting for functions, weddings, parties, anything. And I still do a bit of that with my husband too.
I was going to say, do you miss catering? Because I knew that you did with your husband. I wondered if he was doing it now and you were focusing on this.
No, he's pretty much retired, but we still do things when friends and other people ask us to, but we just don't advertise. I do not miss it one bit. Catering sounds very glamorous. In actual fact, it's just hard work. So there's a lot of standing up for hours on end. There's a lot of lifting crates of 100 plates and things like that. It's just really, really hard.
To be honest, I've always thought it would be very hard and not glamorous. And it sounds terrible, I know, but I've always wanted to be the one at the party, not having to do the job. But I have admired them a lot. Like, it is a lot of work and slog. And particularly when people are drinking, it must be terribly frustrating at times when you're the caterer and feeling annoyed and you're ready to pack up and go home.
Yeah, well, luckily we usually stipulate when we do functions that we're having nothing to do with drink. We're going to do the food, then we're going to pack up and go, and they'll have to get a barman to deal with that. So usually we manage to bow out of that part of it.
That's very clever. Very good. Okay, so what's been your biggest success in your working life? So what are you most proud of in terms of your working life?
Okay. Well, I guess I don't know if you call it my working life, but I guess my biggest success was getting my master's degree in nutrition, because I did an undergrad degree in hotel catering management many, many years ago. And it wasn't until I was about 47, 48 that I decided that my kids were grown up enough now that they didn't need all my attention all the time, and that I could actually make time to study. And I'd always wanted to do dietetics, but didn't do that earlier because I just couldn't bear chemistry. So then I decided, all right, I'll go back, and I didn't do dietetics. I did nutrition, because for dietetics I would have had to go and live in Brisbane, which is all a bit too hard. So I was very excited to find that, 30 years down the track, I could still write an essay, I could still get good marks, I could still research and so on, because, you don't do a lot of those things when you're being a mum or catering. You just don't.
Oh, congratulations. Good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So who are your dream clients and what type of jobs do you like doing the most?
Okay. I guess my dream clients are people who come with a willingness to listen and a lot of willpower to see things through. Because I think often people will come and, they want to talk to you and that, but they don't actually have a big desire to change. And so they'll take your advice and walk away and probably never do anything with it. So my dream clients are people who actually have a big desire to see change in their lives. And what was the other part of the question?
It was, which type of jobs do you like doing the most? So do you like ones that have the whole gamut of issues that they're coming to you with, or that they just recognize that there might be some small changes they need to make?
I suppose both are satisfying. It's really nice when someone comes with a problem, and it can be, just something which seems really simple, but is actually really, affecting their life and making things very difficult. Something like, they're just continually constipated or something. And if I can just make a few little tweaks to their diet and really just fix that, it's just so exciting when they contact me a few weeks later and go, yes, everything's fixed. And it's just so nice because they're like, oh, for 10 years this has been going on and that's all I had to do. And
that's fantastic. I love it. Yay.
Yeah.
Good on you. So what challenges do you see impacting your industry with what's going on at the moment?
Okay. Well, I'd say one of the biggest challenges right now is going to be the fact that everybody's been at home baking and that they've all put on weight.
I haven't been doing the baking, it's my daughter. And I smell it and go, oh!
I know, it's so hard. And yet, you work from home anyway, but, people who go to the office with their little lunch box and that's what they're going to eat today. They're not going to be tempted, and then they're stuck at home and they're making banana bread, and then they might have a cup of tea and need another piece of banana bread, and, so that's going to be one challenge. And I suppose, other than that, the economic challenge of some people being much worse off than they were at the beginning, and perhaps they're not going to have as much money to spend on things like nutrition consultancy. But then I bet they'll have enough money to go get their hair cut, and I bet the cost is very similar. And yet I think I'll have an impact a lot longer than a haircut will.
It's so interesting, isn't it, where people choose to spend their money. This seminar I was doing recently, and it was saying the most important thing is never to say, I can't afford that, because actually we all have the choice where we're going to spend our money. So it's definitely an interesting topic. So just for everybody who might be interested in coming to see you, even though we've still got a few questions to go, to do that, do they need to come to you as a private client, or can they come with a referral from the doctor and go through one of those plans? Or how does it work with you?
Okay, no, you would. Well, I mean, if your doctor says to you, you look like you're going to have diabetes very soon, you'd better do something about your diet, then they might say, oh, and there's this lady we know who'd be really good, but they'll still have to pay. They'll have to come to me privately, because all the what they call alternative therapies, I cannot believe that nutrition is considered to be alternative. To me, it's very core, are now not claimable on Medicare, pretty much. So, and a lot of the private health also have knocked it on the head. So yeah, you would have to pay.
Amazing, isn't it? Amazing how that goes. So what did you want to be when you grew up, Corinne? Anything like me, I don't think I have, but when someone asked you when you were a little girl, what would you have said?
Well, I always used to, when we were driving in the car, and I was brought up in England, when we were driving anywhere and passing through beautiful countryside and there were little thatched cottages and things, I always used to be pointing them out to my mum and dad and saying, look, that's going to be Corinne's coffee house. So I was always going to open a cafe and call it Corinne's Coffee House.
With a thatched roof.
Yeah, it was always the cutest little buildings, you know, probably no good as a coffee house at all, but they had to be super
Adorable.
cute.
That's adorable. I love it. That's great. So question number 10 is, hang on, will I just pull that up? Sorry, I'm a little bit behind you. This is a funny one. If you're an animal, what would you like to be?
Oh, I think I'd like to be a giraffe.
Aha, why's that?
Well, because I've always been a bit annoyed that I'm quite short. And so if I was a giraffe, I wouldn't be short, would I? And I'd also have really, really skinny legs, which is another thing that I'd quite like to have.
Oh, that's great. Okay, what about if you're a movie character? Who would you be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, definitely one who has a lot of fun. I don't know. Maybe I'd be like Mrs. Shrek or something like that. You know,
Princess
I don't want to
Fiona.
yeah, I don't want to be anybody too serious, and somebody who has a lot of fun and creates a lot of laughter. That would be good.
Yeah, that's great. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
Oh, well, I think right here is pretty good. I don't think there's anywhere better at the moment, particularly with what's going on in the world. I certainly look at what's going on in the US at the moment and just shake my head and think, oh, I'm so glad I don't live there.
I hear you, that's for sure. What does being a positive and passionate woman in business mean to you?
Okay, well, being a passionate person in business, I think that's where I'm at, because I haven't had to do this career that I'm currently in for, you know, because, you know, that's what I was trained for originally, and I've stuck with it, and it's boring and I hate it, but, you know, we just got to do it to pay the mortgage and so on. I've chosen to do this quite sort of late in my career, so it was a definite, I want to do this, you know, even if it doesn't make me a deal of money, because I think it's an area of importance, and it's super interesting, and it's always changing. And so being positive, I suppose, is always believing that I can make a difference and that I can influence people and help people. So I end up giving away quite a lot of free advice, because, you know, I'm more interested in making those changes and helping people than I am in actually, you know, pulling in the cash.
That's wonderful, thank you. Number 14 question, we've only got 2 more to go, is what are you most proud of in your life?
Oh, I think what I'm most proud of in my life is my 4 kids. Because, you know, despite all the hiccups of trying to be a good parent and feeling like you've not done such a great job and so on, people often say to me what great kids they are. And, you know, after I've got over the who, what, which ones are you talking about? Then, you know, you realize that if they can behave when they're with strangers, even if they don't behave at home, then you've probably done your job well.
Oh, that's wonderful. And the 15th and final question is, what's one tip that you can share of how you stay positive when things are really challenging?
Okay. Well, I think I have like a really natural sort of positive bent, but I suppose, yeah, for me, it would have to be probably going back to my Christian background, just saying that, you know, it's never the end. Nothing's ever impossible. Everything, there's always hope for the future. Things can only get better, even when they seem really bad. You know, I never give up. I never feel like anything is just so bad that it won't improve. So, you know, they say Nelson Mandela's supposed to have said, it is always impossible until it's done. And then, you know, you realize that, no, it's not impossible. You can do it.
That is an absolutely wonderful thought to leave us with, Corinne. Thank you so much. I love that. It's a
Good.
had forgotten about that saying, so that was a really good reminder. Thank you. So for
All right.
everybody that's watching, if you go into the comments in this post, you'll find the Facebook page. What else could you tell us about that you've got there that people can find you? So I presume, oh yes, Facebook
Well, I
page,
have
groups.
yeah, there's a Facebook page. There's a very infant Instagram. There's also a website, and yeah, that's about it. I don't do Twitter or Pinterest. Yeah, so, and yeah, there are groups that you can join if you want to. We've had a Coping with COVID Kitchen Hacks group. And I've just started another group called Eat the Mediterranean, which you pay a membership fee for. And that's going to run for at least 6 months, all about the healthy Mediterranean diet, its benefits, and also lots of really cool recipes that you can make.
Awesome. So fantastic. It has been lovely spending not 15 minutes, 24 minutes, but I think we did really well. And 15 questions with you, Corinne. Thank you so much for your time. And I
Thank you.
thank you. Seeing you in the next meetup.
All right. See ya.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.